Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name is of course Amma, and I'm an electric skateboarder and content creator based right here in the UK. My goal for this channel is to be a resource for... Who let this guy in?
Get a life, man.
Seriously, I need to do something about this person. Anyway, my goal for this channel is to be a resource for you e-skaters through reviews, tutorials, and ride videos. So if any of that is of interest to you, make sure you smash that subscribe button and join me on this journey. Now, over the years, I've owned dozens of electric skateboards, from shortboards to longboards to all-terrain boards to even boutique boards, and I've ridden off-road boards too. But probably the three most common types of electric skateboards that us consumers will come by are mini boards, longboards, and all-terrain boards. So what I really want to do in this video is to prop up against each other a mini e-skate, a longboard e-skate, and an all-terrain e-skate to see how they cater for different types of riders, how they differ in pricing and performance and practicality. You can see Wowgo's AT2 Plus there, which I've recently released a first impressions video on, and the review is coming soon. But as you can see here on my left, Wowgo have also sent me their Mini 2 and their 2S Pro electric skateboards, which by the way, although they arrived 2 weeks ago, I unfortunately haven't had a chance to unbox them. So before doing anything else, we're going to unbox both of these boards super quickly and then jump straight into our comparison. Although Wowgo have supplied me with these boards free of charge to bring this video to you guys, I'm under no obligation whatsoever to praise them in any way, and if I do see any shortcomings that I do feel like need to be mentioned, I'm more than happy to share them. Thank you so much to Nobleman Tech for being our channel sponsors. Make sure you check out all their safety gear, and you can enjoy an extra 5% off with the code AMMA. Let's unbox these boards. So let's start off with the Wowgo Mini 2. That's what the back of the packaging looks like. Ooh. I really like this. So as soon as you open the box, you're greeted with an info grab, triple head Allen key, skate tool, and a bunch of extra bolts. Mini 2, really like the look of this thing. Cloud wheels, UK charger, truck risers, USB-C remote control, a bunch of Wowgo stickers and an owner's manual, and finally a diagnostics cable. And now for the 2S Pro. That's what the rear side looks like. No fancy infographics card this time around. Okay, this has got a really nice flat shape to it. Seems very refined. In terms of accessories for the 2S Pro, pretty much identical to the Mini 2. So we've got a triple head Allen key, a T-tool with some spare bolts, a USB-C remote with charging cable, 105mm cloud wheel donuts, a 2-amp UK charger, diagnostics cable, and slightly less stickers than the Mini 2 plus an owner's manual. So now that we've finally got both boards unboxed, let's crack into this comparison video.
Six months later.
Now today, having reviewed three of Wowgo's flagship products, the AT2 Plus, the 2S Max, and the Mini 2, I'm going to be comparing each of them just to show you guys, especially if you're new to e-skate, what the main differences are between having an all-terrain electric skateboard, having a longboard electric skateboard, and then having a shortboard as well. Just to give you guys an insight into what will work best for you, for your specific use case, and what the principal differences are between these types of boards. So let's get straight into it. So I've got these boards lined up now in terms of specs and price, starting off right at the bottom of the food chain, if you like. Although for some people, from these three boards, regardless of the price, they would probably still go for the Mini 2. Now this is a mini electric skateboard, and it has its own massive pros. First of all being the size. Look at the size of it in comparison to the 2S Max and then the AT2 Plus. Very small form factor, and if you're somebody that wants a small board to nip around towns with, a board that can take you to work, to take you to gym, shopping, you can literally fit this in a gym locker or a shopping trolley very easily. It's very convenient. If you want, you can also mole grab this board. That's something that you can't do with the other boards. So I'm just holding this. I'm not the tallest or shortest person in the world, but you can see it's not touching the ground at all there. There's no issues with that. That's something that you can't do on the 2S Max or the AT2 Plus. Another principal difference with the Mini 2, as well as the 2S Max actually, is that they're both hub-driven electric skateboards, as opposed to the AT2 Plus, which is a belt-driven electric skateboard. Now, I could make a whole separate video on the differences between hub and belts, but to keep things very, very simple for you guys, hub is less maintenance. When you're riding, there's no chance of you snapping belts, for instance, as there would be with the AT2 Plus, which uses belt just there. But the drawback and the trade, I guess, that you make is that you get less overall power as opposed to belt drive or gear drive. You're sacrificing and compromising on the power that you're able to achieve. Having said that, this is a mini electric skateboard. It's all about convenience. It's not all about power. This board is not focused on power, nor really is the 2S Max. This is just a pleasure board, I would say. And then if you're really after power, if you're really after performance, then you're going to want to opt for an all-terrain board like the 2S Max. Now, next up, let's talk batteries. So this is, of course, going to be a huge consideration for anybody choosing which electric skateboard they want to go for. And again, the theme is that as I move left here, the batteries and the specs overall sort of improve. We've got the smallest battery on the Mini 2, but again, this is a board tailored for convenience. If Wowgo were to put a bigger battery in there or cram more cells into this plastic enclosure, then that would mean that this board would be heavier and not as convenient to take around on your errands, etc. Moving on, we've got the typical sort of boosted style that many of the top e-skate brands have gone for. ESC enclosure on the 2S Max, and then we've got the actual battery enclosure up there. Now, Wowgo do actually have a newer version of this board, but I don't have that, so I'm not going to be reviewing that in this video. I'm not going to be talking about that, but it really varies on how much you want to pay between these two boards. Moving on, we've then got the AT2 Plus. Now, in general, with Wowgo and also with pretty much any other mainstream e-skate brand that offers different form factors of board, the best batteries are going to be on the all-terrain boards, purely because of the fact that you have so much more space to cram the battery cells in. So with these boards, if it's a carbon board, like let's say for example the X-Way Atlas, then it will all be crammed in the deck, and in fact they'll have more space to put in all of the cells, because with this enclosure, for example, because it's a flexible deck, Wowgo have had to leave inserts in between the cells just to allow the battery to flex. I imagine this battery is actually on a PCB, but that's neither here nor there. But the gist of it is, with all-terrain electric skateboards, they typically have more space for batteries, and for that reason you can get a lot more range with all-terrain boards. The other reason for that, the e-skate companies push towards bigger batteries in these boards, is the next point that I'm going to come on to, which is this is an all-terrain 2-in-1 electric skateboard. So with this board, obviously I've got the cloud wheels installed on it at the moment, but as you would have seen in my review, this board also can come with the all-terrain tires, and if you fit the all-terrain tires on with a smaller battery, you're not going to be able to experience a huge amount of range. But with a battery like this, I'll put the range figures again on the screen for you. If you were to use, for example, the small battery on the Mini 2 with all-terrain tires, you're probably going to get 1 or 2 miles of range. So that's another reason that the all-terrain boards have bigger batteries. Now, let's then move on to modularity. I just mentioned with the AT2 Plus, you can put on AT tires. That's something that you can't do with this form factor of board, or in general this form factor of board. However, there are exceptions to this rule. For example, Onsra or Tiny board, I believe with their boards you can put all-terrain tires on, but in general, with mini electric skateboards, because of purely the fact that if you were to put all-terrain tires on, you would get wheel bite, and you know, there's not sort of, you would have to have cutouts near the wheels everywhere. But in general, you're just looking at urethane wheels / urethane sleeves, as we've got on this board. The most modularity that you can get is on a board like the AT2 Plus, and in general as well, in terms of the deck itself, way overexposed there. In terms of the deck itself, you've got the least sort of playroom on a mini electric skateboard, and then comparably on a board like the AT2 Plus, you've got the most amount of real estate, foot real estate, if I can even coin that expression, and that just increases the overall comfort, because this is a board that's going to allow you to ride for miles and miles on end, more than those two boards anyway. So that's why Wowgo and in general all-terrain boards have a wider form factor. They accommodate for more comfort, and with this deck, the grip tape is actually shock absorbing, and that allows for greater comfort. It's not going to make an enormous difference, but every little counts, to take the Tesco motto there. Now, when it comes to the looks of these boards, of course, looks are a highly subjective thing, but in my opinion they all look really pretty. I personally really like the design of the AT2 Plus. It's very sort of robotic, very futuristic. This has a sort of plain design, and then the Mini 2 still has the sort of purple Wowgo branding and Wowgo colors on it, but still all really pretty boards. I can't really fault any of them in terms of aesthetics. And then when it comes to the overall ride feel and comfort, the AT2 Plus is a clear winner, not just in this category between, a all-terrain board and then a mini board and then a long board, but in general, the AT2 Plus is far more comfortable than the vast majority, if not all, other all-terrain electric skateboards that I've personally tried in the past. The combination of the flexi deck, the shock-absorbing grip tape, and then the all-terrain tires as well, but even with the cloud wheels as well, it's really comfortable, this board. A huge favorite of mine for that reason exactly. And then this is also a flexible deck, the 2S Max, and then the Mini 2 is of course a stiff deck. It's very difficult to get sort of any flex in a mini board unless it's something like the Stoke, the Evolve Stoke, which is a bamboo board, but even then it's not very flexible. It's only very marginally flexible. But yeah, more sort of real estate on the deck for you to plant your feet and feel comfortable. A bit less room here, and then even less room on the Mini 2. And then of course the wheels, the wheel options. Now you can get cloud wheels with both of these boards, and Wowgo have sent them to me. Unfortunately, I've been so busy and haven't been able to install them and test them out, but that would increase the comfort, and that's notwithstanding the fact that these are hub motors on the 2S Max and on the Mini 2. There are hub motors, but the cloud wheels that you get with that, of course, are going to be the cloud wheel donuts, so you don't necessarily have to have belt drive on a board in order to install cloud wheels. But yeah guys, I guess last thing to touch on is the price. The cheapest of these boards is going to be the Mini 2, and then it goes on to the 2S Max and then the AT2 Plus. The AT2 Plus, I would say, if you're after a board that you purchase one board and you get to experience many different ride feels, many different riding conditions, off-road, trails, street riding, urethane wheels, cloud wheels, all-terrain wheels, then that's really going to be your best bet. If you just want a long board feel, if you want a board that isn't too big and bulky, some people might find this board bulky, that's just average sized, and it's going to allow you for comfort, and also it's got a bit of flex to it, and you don't want to break the bank, then the 2S Max is a great bang for your buck with better specs than the Mini 2, which, if you want a board that in sum is going to be extremely convenient for you to get to class with, to get to work with, throw it in the car, throw it in a gym locker, very lightweight, but your priority isn't in terms of specs, it's not in terms of top speed or range. You just want an electric skateboard that's gonna serve the function of getting you from A to B for a short distance with a thrill and a big smile on your face. Then the Mini 2 is gonna be your best bet. So guys, I really hope that you've enjoyed this quick comparison between these three boards, and if you've got any questions at all about any of these boards, drop it down in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to help you guys, and let me know, if you're a beginner e-skater, which of these three form factors of board would suit you most and which are you most attracted to. I'd really be interested to know that. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Also, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, let me know why, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.